I was standing at my own kitchen counter holding a letter from the bank, and my hands were shaking so bad I read the same line 4 times. 90 days delinquent. Foreclosure proceedings may begin. 22 years of marriage. 2 kids raised under that roof. All of it about to belong to a bank, because I put my name in the wrong man's hands. But let me take you back to where this actually started. Before starting the story, tell me what's your name. Please like this video. My name is Mark. I'm 47. I run an HVAC business outside Dayton, Ohio. Heating and cooling, nothing glamorous. Just me, 2 guys, and a van with my name painted on the side in blue letters my daughter picked out when she was 9. I built that business with my own 2 hands, 1 job at a time, starting out of a rusted-out pickup with borrowed tools. I never missed a Little League game in 11 years. I never asked another man for a dime in my life. Around here, that means something. My father-in-law, Frank, was a contractor for 30 years before his knees gave out and he retired. Frank doesn't waste words. He's the type who says 1 sentence at dinner and the whole table just nods, because everyone knows he already thought it through 3 times before he said it. One Thanksgiving at our place years back, he pulled me aside on the back porch while the kids chased each other around the yard, and he told me something I brushed off like it was nothing. Mark, never put your name on another man's business. Don't co-sign. Don't guarantee what you can't control. A man's name is the last thing he's got when everything else is gone. I told him I appreciated it. I meant it, too, in the moment. Then I forgot it completely, right up until the one day in my life I needed to remember it most. 2 years ago, Danny walked back into my life. Danny and I went back to 3rd grade, Little League, backyard cookouts. He was best man at my wedding, and I was best man at his. Then life happened the way it does. Jobs, kids, distance. We lost touch for almost 20 years. He showed up at my shop on a Tuesday afternoon in a suit that looked like it cost more than my truck, talking fast and smiling the way he used to when he wanted something back in the 4th grade. Commercial HVAC contracts, office buildings, real money, the kind of jump my little 2-man operation needed to become something bigger. All he needed was my name on the loan. His credit was wrecked from the divorce, he said. Just a formality. He'd handle the rest. Frank's voice was right there in the back of my head. Never put your name on another man's business. I told myself, this is different. This is Danny. We go back 30 years. Frank doesn't even know him. I signed. For a few months, it actually felt like I'd made it. New trucks with the logo wrapped fresh, bigger jobs. Danny ran the money side, invoicing, the bank, the books, and I ran the cruise. That was the deal we shook hands on in his car in my driveway. Then the suppliers started calling about late payments, small ones at first. I'd mention it to Danny and he'd clap me on the shoulder and say, "Cash flow hiccup, brother. Commercial clients pay slow. I got it handled." My wife Denise said something to me one night at the sink, quiet, almost like she didn't want to start something. Something about him feels off to me, Mark. I told her she didn't know him like I did. 20 years apart or not, some friendships don't need updating. Some nights after the kids were asleep, I sat alone in the garage with the business laptop open, running numbers that didn't add up, no matter how many times I ran them, telling myself I just wasn't a numbers guy, that Danny had it handled. Here's the thing nobody tells you about pride. It doesn't shout when it's about to cost you everything. It whispers, "You've got this," right up until the floor gives out from under you. There was a night I almost said something real. I had the words ready in my truck on the drive over. "Danny, show me the books, all of it, tonight." He met me with good news before I could get a word out. A commercial contract bigger than anything we'd ever touched, he said. Enough to clear every late payment and put us both ahead for good. If we could bridge a short gap in the meantime, 1 more transfer from the business account, temporary. A week, maybe 2. Every instinct in me said stop. But stopping meant admitting the last 2 years had been a mistake. Believing him meant I got to keep being the guy who'd made a smart move, not the guy who'd ignored his father-in-law for nothing. I approved the transfer. Danny went quiet for a week. Then the bank called. Not him, me, 90 days behind, my signature on the guarantee, my liability, in full. I drove straight to his office that same afternoon, empty, furniture gone, phone disconnected. I found out later he'd drained what was left in the business account and taken out a second loan under the LLC, my name still stapled to every page of it, 3 weeks before that call ever came. My youngest asked me that night why I looked like that, sitting at the table not eating. I told him I was just tired from work. He believed me because kids believe their fathers, and that was its own kind of gut punch. After he went to bed, I sat Denise down at our kitchen table, the same table Frank sat at every Thanksgiving before he ever gave me that warning, and I told her the truth. The house we'd refinanced to shore up the business was now on the line, 22 years of marriage, and I had to watch her face change while I said it out loud. That's the part nobody warns you about. It's never just the money. It's what the person across the table sees in you afterward. Here's what I didn't know that night. Denise had felt something was wrong with Danny months before I'd let myself admit it. Not proof, just a feeling she couldn't shake. Her own father had told her something once, years before he ever said a word to me. Never argue a proud man out of his pride, Denise. Just get ready for the day he needs you to catch him. So she got ready. 4 months of weekend shifts at the pharmacy I didn't even know about while I thought she was visiting her sister. Jewelry she never wore anymore, sold off quietly online. She told me the money was going toward the kids' college fund. It wasn't. It was for this exact night, at this exact table. It didn't erase what we owed, it didn't bring back what Danny took, but it covered the gap long enough for us to refinance the house properly, sell the second truck, and keep our name on the deed instead of the bank's. I heard almost a year later, through a mutual friend from high school, that Danny had tried the same play on somebody else 2 states over, and it finally caught up to him there. I didn't feel joy hearing it, just a tired kind of relief that it wasn't mine to carry anymore. My business today is smaller than it was at its biggest. 1 truck, just me and 1 guy, same as when I started. But I'm home for dinner every single night, and the only thing my name sits on now is what I can actually see, touch, and control. I drove out to see Frank not long after everything settled. Part of me was braced for him to finally say it. I told you so. He never did. He just looked at me for a second, the way he does, and said, "Your name was always the only thing that was really yours, Mark. Everything else can be replaced." Frank never once said, "I told you so." He didn't have to. Some warnings don't need to be repeated. They just need to be felt, once, all the way to the bone. Tell me in comments, what would you do if it happens to you?